All right, boys and girls, I am at the high school today, but I wanted to still be with you, so I'm going to help with the lesson. You should have just finished your morning work. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to see how did you do with our answers. So let's take a peek here. Hopefully you did really well. You should have finished 1 through 6 as a group. You may work together, reminder. Hopefully you did really well. Okay, I'll go through a couple of them. Go ahead and take a look at the answers. How'd you do? Remember that you should be able to complete all of these. These are a review from what we did previously. If you did not get it right, I want you to go through it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go through the first one just so you guys remember how we did these as a quick review. Reminder, we're trying to get the variable x all by itself on one side. So to do that, we look at right here, 2x plus 15 equals 7x. So what are we going to do? We are going to take and get rid of the 2x by subtracting 2x from both sides, we've just canceled out the 2x, making this 5x, because when we have different signs, we take the larger sign and then we subtract. So now we have 15 equals 5x. Alright, we need to get rid of the 5 over here, so what we're going to do is divide by 5 on both sides. We've just canceled out on this side, making it x equals 5 goes into 15 3 times. Alright, hopefully you remembered that. Alright, we're also going to look at the second problem there. Now reminder, boys and girls, we're still looking at getting the variable a all by itself. So we'll go through, once again, we're going to subtract 3a from both sides, giving us 2a. This cancels out, the 3a equals negative 18. Now this is where it gets tricky because we get confused with negatives, don't forget. Okay, we're going to divide both sides by 2. When we have a negative and a positive and we're dividing, our answer is going to be negative. So this would make it a, 2 goes into 18, negative 9. Alright, hopefully you got those right. The last one I'm going to go over is, okay, the last one we're going to look at is number 6. Alright, and we read the problem first. An art studio charges $8 a day plus a membership fee of $15. Another studio charges $5 a day plus a membership fee of $24. After how many days of studio use will the cost of both studios be the same? Alright, so who's this problem about? Well, obviously it's about the art studio, and what unit are we going to answer it in? We're going to answer it in days. Okay? And we want them to be the same, and that's kind of our clue there. We want them to end up being the same, so we want them to equal. So now we're just going to have to write our equations. So the first one says an art studio charges $8 a day. Alright, so it's 8 per day plus a membership of 15. Okay, then we see the other studio charges $5 a day plus 24. Alright, so now we have our equation and we solve it. We have equation on both sides. This is just like what we were doing previously. We're going to get rid of 5d on both sides. Giving us 3d. The other side's canceled out. We're going to get rid of the 15 on both sides. Minus 15 on both sides there. Making it 3d equals, when we subtract it, 9. Now we divide the 3 on both sides. Sorry, it's getting a little squished. D equals 3. Hopefully that's what you got. If not, hopefully this was helpful. Alright, now we're going to move on. Go ahead and get your journals out. We're going to take notes. Alright, go ahead and copy down your notes for this section. 5.3, it's the inequality notes. We're looking at inequalities today. And make sure that your table of contents reflects whatever page that you are in your journals right now. I'll give you time to go ahead and record that. Copy those down. If the sub could please hit start when, go ahead and pause it now, and when the students are ready, hit play again. All right, so what we're looking at is our notes, and we'll kind of go through those. But an inequality, basically an inequality is when something is not equal to. It is either less than or equal to, greater than, or greater than or equal to. And we've worked through these before. We'll talk about them more in depth, and we'll talk about what the open circle and the closed circle means over here also. Real quick, let me explain to you what an inequality is. What is an inequality? It is where something could have multiple answers. For example, in the classroom, you have students that are probably 13 years old. Okay? So, they could be less than 13, but they're not going to be more. So, we would have that, for example, maybe Shelby is less than 13. Well, he's probably 13. So we're going to say he is less than or equal to 13. So Shelby could actually be, he could be 13. What other ages could he be? He could also be 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 1. Wouldn't matter. But could he be 14? No, he could not. So an inequality has multiple solutions. It doesn't just have an equal sign, which is difference. So it's not x equals 13. It could have multiple solutions depending on the problem. That's the difference between an equation and an inequality. Now we're going to look at writing an inequality. So continue in your notes, and what we're going to do first here is we're going to come up with 2 tips on writing our inequality. Go ahead and write those down. When we see the words at most or no more than, that always equals less than or equal to. Anytime we see the clue word at least, that's always going to equal greater than or equal to. Those are just 2 little clues. If you remember previously, I told you when we wrote equations that when you saw more than, that was addition. If you saw less than, that was subtraction. These are your cheat codes for when you write your inequalities. They'll help you as we're working through them. All right? Hopefully you've got these written down by now. If not, could the substitute go ahead and pause and give you time and hit play when they're ready. All right. Next, we're going to go through and we're going to write an inequality. Go ahead and copy these examples down. This says more than 3,400 people attended the concert. The second one is she made $11 per hour, but no more than 121 total. The third one there says a pair of jeans were discounted $40 and now less than 50. Oops, sorry guys, it came off. There's that 50 there. All right, go ahead and take as much time as you need. Have the sub go ahead and pause it if necessary. All right, start it when you're ready. Okay, let's look at that first one. More than 3,400 people attended the concert. Now, we found before when we saw more than, we added. But for an inequality, would that mean less than or greater than? Well, obviously, it's going to mean greater than. So looking at this one, we would end up saying that P for people is greater than 3,400. Okay, hopefully you got that one. All right, let's look at that second one. She made $11 per hour, but no more than 121 total. There's that clue, no more than. And if you look up at the top, when we see no more than, that's that clue that says we're going to use less than or equal to. All right? You need to remember that. Less than or equal to. Okay? So we look at this answer. And, sorry guys. Oops. I pause. All right, sorry about that. It went on the opposite page. So we are back. So she made $11 per hour, but no more than 121. So we get that no more than. We know the sign that we're going to use. The sign is going to be greater than or equal to. All right, so we have greater than or equal to $121 total, and we know that she made $11 per hour. So $11, and I'm going to use an H for hour. So 11H is greater than or, oh, no, it's less than or equal to 121. Sorry, guys. It is 11H is less than or equal to 121. Sorry about that. I was reading it wrong. All right, the next one says a pair of jeans were discounted $40 and now less than 50. Well, we know what less than means. We know how to write that one. That's pretty simple. Like that, like the L. And then it's less than 50. We know that. Now, what is our variable? We have to decide. I'm going to use a J for jeans minus 40. So, jeans minus 40 is less than 50, however much it is. And that's how you're going to go through and write your inequalities. All right, go ahead and write these down. This is going to be true or false. We are going to solve these inequalities. You're going to notice, remember, that you have your inequality signs here. All right? That is less than, and then we have greater than or equal to. They're both there. Now, we're going to go in, though, and remember, when we're solving these, we're just pretending it's an equal sign. It's no different than if this was 10 minus x equals 7. We're going to solve it in the same way. The difference is that, like I did with the Shelby's example, or whoever the age is, that you can have multiple choices here when you answer it. That's the difference. So we go ahead and solve this like we would solve any problem. All right, and we'll go through. We're trying to substitute in for x, and we substitute in, and we'll end up with 10 minus 5 is less than 7. All right, we're going to tell whether this is true or false. We'll go ahead and subtract it, and we subtract it, and we come up with 5 is less than 7. Is that true, or is it false? Well, it's true. Pretty simple. This is just like solving equations. All right, we go over to the second example, and we look at it. All right, we are going to substitute in again we're going to substitute in the 4 for A. But remember, just like previously, we could pretend it's an equal sign because that's how we solved equations before. So we're just going to remember that. All right, so we go through and solve it just like we normally do. Okay, we substitute in, and you'll see we've substituted in, and we have 16 divided by 4 is greater than or equal to 5. We finish that. 4 goes into 16 4 times, making 4 greater than or equal to 5. Is that correct? No, it's not. It is false. Pretty simple. Hopefully you got that. Let's continue. All right, this is where we're going to use our notes from earlier, where we looked at the open circle and the closed circle. You wrote this at the beginning, and we had open circles are when we have greater than or less than, and closed circles is when we have, it's right here off to the side, I went ahead and put it on there. Closed circles are when you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. We're just going to talk about how to put them on a number line. We've done number lines before, so this shouldn't be too difficult. All right, so we look at x is less than 5. Your cheat, the arrow is going to the left. So when we put this on the number line, we're going to make ours go to the left. So it'll look like this. And I'll show you. So we put on our number line the 5 because the 5 is here, and we know we're going to draw it to the left because the arrow here goes left. We see that. All right, that arrow is less than. And then, are we going to do an open or closed circle? We're going to do an open circle because the sign there is less than. It's not less than or equal to. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, in the next one we have z is greater than or equal to negative 6. So we look at this one, and we put on our number line the negative 6. There it is, and we just draw it on. You can put a 0 here if you want. All right, so the arrow here is pointing to the right, so we're going to make our circle right where the 6 is, because that's where we're starting. Okay, and then our arrow on our number line is going to go to the right. We have an open circle so far, but should we have an open circle? Well, in actuality, we should not for this one. Instead, we should have a closed circle. If we look here, if it's greater than or equal to, we'll have a closed circle. Okay, so we're going to close that circle in, and the arrow is going to go to the right when we graph these inequalities. So the answer could be -6 or anything greater than -6. My answer when I solved this could actually be a -8. I don't know. But it could be any answer greater than -6. It cannot be -4 over here because if you notice our arrow is pointing to the right. Nothing less than -6. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do the next one. Why don't you go ahead and give this a try without me. Go ahead and solve it. M is greater than or equal to 12. Go ahead and write it on your number line right now. Substitute if you need to pause it, you could right now. Then give them an opportunity. Okay, we're back. So we look here and we're going to say that we're going to look at it and we're going to put a 12 on our number line here because it says it's greater than or equal to 12. Okay. Oops, that's not a -12, it's just a 12. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have a 12 there. And the arrow is going right, so we're going to go right also. We already know that. We're going to put a circle at the 12 because that's the starting point. Is it an open circle or a closed circle? Hopefully you got that right. This one's closed because it's greater than or equal to. The last one, H, is less than 15. And we look at that. Go ahead and give them time to work it out. Pause me, and when they're ready, hit play again. Alright, so we look at it, and we know the arrow is going towards the left. So we're going to start with the number 15. Oops, I didn't want to put a negative again. Must like those. Alright, so there's that 15. I put my open circle because I'm going to know that that's my starting point. I know I'm going to go to the right. I'll put my 0 here so I know where they're going. Any answer could be from the 15 back. Could one of the answers be 15? No, because I'm not going to close this circle. It is going to stay open because this right here is not less than or equal to. All right, hopefully you got those right. All right, we're on the last part of the day. This is to write an inequality. Okay, so this is writing an inequality from a graphed number line. Now you're going to notice immediately that the open circle is here. All right, go ahead and make sure you've written this on your paper. This is our example. This will help you with your homework from tonight. Okay, so you're immediately going to notice that this open circle means something. If you remember, an open circle means it's not equal to 4. So, no matter what, the answer cannot be equal to 4. Now, the arrow is going towards the left. So we know that we're going to end up with left, which is less than, and we can pick whatever variable we want. I'm going to pick n for number. The number is less than 4. Sorry about the buzzer. Okay, so the number is less than 4. Pretty simple. Hopefully you got that one, and let's look at the next one. Go ahead and try this one yourself. All right, you can pause if necessary. Okay, we look. This one has a closed circle, and because it has a closed circle, we know that it's going to be equal to -5, no matter what. Something is going to have that opportunity. Now the arrow is going towards the right, so we know that it's going to be greater than or equal to -5. And once again, you can pick whatever variable. I'm going to pick an x for this one. X is greater than or equal to -5. And that's it. That's how you write your inequality. All right, let's take a look at our homework for the night. All right, your homework for tonight is in your workbook, Lesson 5.3, and it's the Skills Practice page. I think it's page 55. You can double check that. And that's it. You have time to work on them. Do your best. I am posting this video on My Big Campus also, so if you have any questions or anything in regards to it, you can go back and view it again. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.